psychological and emotional well-being.
Kestabilan emosi, fizikal dan juga psikologi seseorang.
Kesihatan mental tu jiwa kacau lah.
You are overstressed or emotionally unstable, you need help. This is our role at Skuad, Peduli, Minda, Faculty of Medicine, UiTM.
We aim to raise awareness,
be the pioneer in training strategies to seek help for mental health challenges, to empower a group of students and staff.
We bring mental health knowledge and awareness, which include mental health screening,
stress management, coping strategies, building resilience and tenacity,
mindfulness therapy, and interpersonal skills.
This is just the beginning. Together we thrive.
be aware,
reach out,
take charge.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada semua peserta webinar series
anjuran Skuad Peduli Minda Fakulti Perubatan Universiti Teknologi Mara. Pada hari ini kita sangat bertuah kerana kita telah menjemput Profesor Madya Dr. Salina Mohamed. Beliau ialah pakar perunding psikiatri dan juga pensyarah perubatan Universiti Teknologi Mara. Doktor, jika anda mempunyai sebarang soalan kepada Dr. Salina, anda boleh menaip di chat, bahagian chat dalam YouTube channel kita. Saya akan baca soalan-soalan anda pada akhir ceramah beliau. Beliau akan menyampaikan ceramah yang bertajuk Common Mental Disorders. Tanpa melengahkan masa, saya ingin jemput Dr. Salina untuk ceramah beliau.
I'm using this menti.com platform to ask a few questions. Okay, I'd like to start by actually asking how you are today. Actually, if you go to the website www.menti.com and input the code there, okay, you can actually type how you are doing today. All right, so I'll just give us about 30 seconds to see how's everyone is doing today. All right, and then we can get on with the presentation. Okay, good. Someone said that they are feeling great today. That's great. Alhamdulillah. Wonderful. Anyone else? Okay, we hear someone said that they're feeling fine. Okay, that's good. All right, so I am good today. Very good. I'm glad to hear. While waiting, maybe I'll just introduce what I'm going to talk about today. All right. I've been tasked to talk about common mental disorders, okay? And I'm just going to give a very brief description, and I'm going to talk mostly about the challenges of what our university students or our young are facing today, okay? And then towards the end, actually, I would like to find out how is everyone doing, okay? All right. Oh, good. Someone is saying that they're feeling thankful, motivated, excited. That's great. Very good. All right. Okay. All right. So, thank you very much. All right. So, I'm going to focus, as I mentioned earlier, about our university students' challenges, and this is in general. Okay. Basically, today's topic is to perhaps raise some awareness about what are mental health disorders and what are the symptoms, and more importantly, what we can do about them. Okay? All right. So in general, okay, when we talk about mental health, we keep on hearing about this mental health, psychological health, emotional health. What are they? They are basically under the umbrella of mental health, because mental health is not just about what's going on up here. It's actually what we are feeling, okay? And usually what we are feeling is governed by what we are thinking about, okay? So when we talk about mental health, okay, we are talking about emotional, psychological, we're talking about our social well-being, how we interact with other people, how we interact with the environment around us, okay? And for a lot of us, we are also talking about our religious and also spiritual well-being, okay? All right. So how we think, feel and act actually will influence how we handle stress, okay? How we relate to other people, and how we make decisions and choices, okay? It also will influence what motivates us, what we like and what we don't like. Okay. WHO states that, okay, mental health is a state of well-being, okay, where someone realizes his or her own abilities, have the ability to cope with the normal stresses of life, okay, can work, study productively, okay, and able to make contribution to his or her community, okay. So that is what mental health means, okay. It's not just about one thing, about how we think or how we feel or how we interact with other people. It's not or, it's and, okay. Right. So what then is mental disorder? Okay. Any stressors, okay, psychiatrists, psychologists like to use this word stressors. It means what stresses us, okay, things that make or gives rise to negative emotions in us, makes us feel uneasy, afraid, unsure, okay. These are what we call stresses, all right. And every human being on this planet will face some amount of stress. It can be mild, moderate or severe type of stress. And what are they? All right. It is actually very individualized. What stresses me might be different to what stresses each one of you who is currently watching, okay, or outside there, okay, in the community, because no one responds to stress or have or interpret the meaning of a negative event similarly, okay. So what are they? It can be stress or inability to cope with studies, with work, conflicts with family members or friends, yeah, issues with money, having physical illness, okay, or some people find going through the traffic in KL is stressful, okay, all right. So this, if it is persistent, if it's chronic, all right, and it causes a persistent negativity in us, okay, negative emotion, negative way of looking at it, yeah, makes us angry all the time or sad all the time or anxious all the time, can actually disrupt our mental health, okay. How? It can cause changes in the way we think, feel and or behave, all right, and this in turn, if it's severe enough, can cause persistent distress and problems in functioning, okay, socially, work, family, anything that is important to you, okay. All right. So I just want to stress here is that having emotions, okay, even if it's what we call negative emotions like anger, sadness, anxiety, these are actually normal part of being a human being. It's a normal thing, okay. When something good happens to you, you feel happy, all right, that's normal. When something is upsetting, you lose something, you lose money, you lose someone, you break up with someone, or you didn't do so great in your studies, yeah, your bosses is angry with you, your lecturer is angry with you, you'll feel sad, okay, definitely. So these are normal. And every day our mood changes, okay? Sometimes we wake up in the morning very zen, very motivated, very happy. Say like, today is my day. Then you face the traffic or get into a car accident, or your friend is moody and grumpy with you. And all of this will start to chip away with your so-called zen or your happiness, okay? And so then it may cause you to feel a bit less happy than how you were when you woke up. Okay, so this is normal. All right, when we talk about mental health disorders, mental illness, it is feeling negative emotions every day. Okay, feeling distress every day. All right, and when you feel distress every day, and your body, your mind, your resources to cope fails or has already up to the maximum, then it will start to disrupt your daily functioning. May disrupt your sleep, may disrupt the way you, your appetite, your concentration, okay, which in turn will start to cause a domino effect and start to affect your work, your interaction with family, and in your social life. Okay, right. So, mental illness, all right, it can affect anyone. Okay, it doesn't discriminate against age, gender, where you live, how much money you make, your social status, your race or ethnicity, what kind of religion, who you aspire to or believe in, okay, your background or any other aspects of cultural identity. Okay, it can basically affect anyone these days. Okay, right. So how can someone develop mental illness? Okay, there's actually no one cause. You cannot say that, oh, because her family member, someone in her family has depression, therefore she will develop depression, or that's why she is depressed right now. No. Okay, this is what we call multiple factors or polygenic, or multiple vulnerability interacting with each other. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, yes, you may have someone in your family having depression. Okay, and yes, it may put you at risk of developing depression or any other mental illness. Okay, all right, but you may not develop it. Okay, if you have strong coping skills, you have a good circle of friends, or you have an upbeat personality, for example, or you have read up about it, or whenever you feel negative emotion, you quickly have someone to talk to, or you are in tune with how you feel and how you behave. All right, so you don't necessarily develop what we call clinical depression. You feel depressed, you feel upset, but you will not get into the severe form, the persistent form. Okay, so the way we are, okay, the way how the environment is with us, okay, these two things, they interact with each other. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier on, our interpretation to stresses or what stresses us is individualized. Okay, it really depends on person to person. So we cannot actually predict who will develop mental illness. Like I said, it's not discriminatory. Okay, all right, and it has multiple factors that interacts with each other. All right, so you can't actually blame on one thing or one person that causes someone to develop mental illness, okay, or mental disorder. Okay, right. So I'd like to talk about the challenges that university students face these days. Okay, what do you think? Okay, it might not necessarily mean it refers to you, but I'd like to see what your views are, okay, on what do you think are the challenges faced by university students these days. All right, is it worries over money, family issues, relationship issues, worries over studies, worries over health? What do you think? Okay, can we take like a minute here, and can you, wow, that was fast. Okay, all right, worries over money and studies. Okay, anyone else? Okay, worries over health. Okay, so most of you, I think almost about 57%, talked about worries over studies, okay, followed by worries over money, and then health. Okay, thank you very much. So perhaps because of these worries, these difficulties, okay, that our university students have some mental disorders. Okay, all right. Mind you, I was able to find these studies, okay, the statistics are from studies over the last 5 years, from 2015, 2016 like that, until the recent one, 2020. Okay, if you can look here, all right. For the last 5 years, okay, all right, our students, okay, university students here is undergrad in general, okay, and irrespective of what you study, okay, irrespective of what year. So I took this like in terms of total, but individual studies would have mentioned from which faculty and whatnot, okay. So top of the list would be anxiety, then followed by depression, okay, all right, and then in the last couple of years, actually, all right, smartphone addiction, okay, start to come in, okay, and internet addiction. But mind you, to be fair, okay, this smartphone and internet addiction only 2 to 3 years ago that we are starting to see problems with it. Hence, why it is only papers from 2 to 3 years ago. But it's quite significant, okay. We'll talk about this disorders in turn later, okay, and then burnout, all right, and then stress, okay. I could not find many papers on some of our students who are struggling with suicidal ideation or has had suicidal attempt for whatever reason, okay. In our country, studies on these quite scarce, okay. Hopefully we can improve on this in the future, by finding out more on this, okay. And can't find much on non-suicidal self-injury, okay. This one here means that those who actually hurt themselves, you may have heard of those who perhaps make tiny cuts on their wrist, okay, whenever they feel really stressed, very distressed, okay, and not much on substance abuse, okay, like illegal drugs, like alcohol, so these are the areas that perhaps, okay, mental health professionals should look into when it comes to our university students' mental health, okay. Right. Okay, I'm going to talk about mental health now, okay, mental health disorders, okay, and I want you to think in terms of iceberg, okay. Why? Why do I use this mental health iceberg term? Because usually, all right, what we see on the surface, okay, the crying, the sadness, the anger, okay, not turning up to classes, cannot concentrate, failing in exams, for example, okay, getting into arguments, or even having suicidal thoughts or plans, okay, are what we see, okay. But there are many things under the surface in that person, okay, that actually influence what we see, all right. So what are they? It could be the person's personality, character, the type of stress, physical illness, the person's social support, okay, the person's resources, finances, the person's experience with facing difficulties in the past, okay, the person's ability to actually seek out help, okay. All of these actually come into play, all right, when someone faces stress, okay. So let me just show you a few examples by what I mean. Okay, let's take mood problem like depression, okay, all right. What we see in ourselves or friends or the people that we know is that, oh, we see the person cannot make decisions. look tired, no energy, seem to be easily angry, not eating well, not sleeping well, cannot concentrate, yeah. But then under the surface, okay, what is actually influencing this, okay, is the feelings of perhaps helplessness, hopelessness, feeling anger with self, okay, feeling guilty, okay, having empty mood or no mood, or feeling anxious. Okay, so these are the things that goes through in the person's thoughts and emotions. Okay, things that perhaps the person themselves or we ourselves are not aware that we're feeling. Okay, so it shows up in this, in the physical. Right, physically this is what we see. What about someone who goes through anxiety? All right, okay. I apologize that we can't really see the below the surface words, okay? But someone who's feeling anxious, okay? Again, argumentative, withdrawn, irritable, avoiding things, yeah? Unable to perform, always have a thought block, for example, refuse to turn up to class, okay? So they have anxiety, anxiousness, they feel excessive worry, they fear about bad thing happening, okay, and they have a lot of physical symptoms like headaches, unexplained backaches, they feel palpitation, their heart start to race, they feel uneasy, they feel restlessness, they procrastinate in their work, okay, unable to make decision, or they make decision then quickly they change again, or make impulsive decisions. So this could mean that someone is anxious. Okay, so this is what someone who's anxious will be going through inside, okay, emotionally and mentally. But what we see is the behavior. Okay. Okay, I want to talk about suicidal behaviors. Okay, here it means suicidal thoughts, thoughts of self-harm, having plans, okay, or having attempts, okay. Maybe the person is in incredible pain, okay, physically. They have some physical illness, medical illness, okay. They are unable to cope with the pain. They are in extreme psychological distress, extreme stress, depression or anxiety. They're suffering negative life events, that they lost something, lost someone, or have poor social support. They have social isolation. They feel hopeless, okay. They are prone to impulsivity, perhaps, okay. And with availability of means, or have exposure to self-harm, they see on TV or heard on radio, or they know someone, all of these actually plays on what we call our vulnerability factors, or it will increase our risk, okay, for suicidal behaviors. So when someone have thoughts of self-harm, okay, we will be looking at what is actually driving these thoughts, these feelings, okay. We don't censor someone who have ideas or thoughts or plans, okay, or even when they come to us, they have attempts, all right. We are not going to judge, okay, but we would like to know about what is actually motivating these ideas, plans or attempts, so that we can help to prevent future thoughts, plans or attempts. Okay. So people say internet addiction is the mental health disorder of the millennials, okay. Not really, because I've seen actually, people over 40, over 50 who cannot get off the internet. All right. So these people, okay, who what we say have internet addiction, okay, basically, if you feel you cannot go a day without going on the internet, all right, then, okay, you start to feel anxious, you have palpitation, you feel restless or irritable, okay, you may actually suffer from overuse, harmful use, okay, or you are actually addicted to it, okay, all right. So I just want to give you this scenario, okay? If someone were to tell you, it's not scammer or some Nigerian scam thing, okay? I'm just giving you this scenario lah. Someone call you and say that, oh, congratulations, Miss So-and-so, okay? You just won a 1 week stay in, what's the nice island in Malaysia? Okay, Perhentian Island, okay? Everything is free, all right? This is the best resort. You get the room all to yourself by the beach, okay? But in that 1 week, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no phones. Okay, can you do it? All right. If you say immediately, can, no problem. Okay, first of all, really, can you? Okay, all right. But if you can, good on you. Maybe you don't have problems separating yourself from the internet. Okay, but then if you're like, oh, maybe not. Okay, maybe you need to look at how much internet you're using. Okay, and if you say you cannot, well, okay, maybe you should look into this criteria a little bit, all right, and think about separating yourself from the internet. Okay, all right. So similarly with smartphone addiction, okay, because with internet you need to be able to sit in front of the computer and surf and all that. Smartphone addiction is a bit different, okay, because smartphone we use it not just to surf internet, but it is our communication tool as well, okay, where we WhatsApp for work things, for study things, yeah, with our family. We use Instagram, we use Facebook, yeah. Social media stuff, all right? So again, in that ideal island scenario, okay, 1 week without your phone, okay, can you be without it? I mean, don't say things like, oh, but I have a sick mom at home or I have children. Just imagine that everything is ideal, everything works out, like you have nothing to worry about. Okay, all you have to do is just get on the plane and go to Perhentian Island, all expensive trip, all expenses paid trip, okay? But the caveat here is that no phones, no internet, nothing, okay? Just you, yourself, and you, okay? So, can you do it, all right? Okay, so the fancy term for this is called nomophobia. I actually just found out about this. There's an actual term of this. They coined it actually in early 2010. Okay, all right, when smartphone has become overused at that time. Okay, all right. Okay, so in a 2016 study by our Ministry of Health, it shows that among students, university students, when it comes to mental health issues, there's a poor or low help-seeking behavior. Okay, and I want to see how do you feel about this. Do you agree with this statement that actually there's wow, 100%. Okay, wow. Okay, all right. Anyone else? What do you think? Okay. All of you say yes. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, why is that? What do you think can prevent someone from seeking help for mental health issues? Okay. Is it the stigma? Is it because don't know where? Is it because someone thinks there's no such thing actually as mental illness? All right. It's actually buatan orang, okay? So you want to seek help elsewhere, okay? Is it because mental illness equals to a weak person, feel ashamed, or for that person, there's family interference? What do you think? Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to talk about access to mental health services. Okay, because I think this is important. All right, whether you are having mild, moderate, or severe symptoms, yeah, whether you are having any difficulties, okay, I think it's important that you know, whenever you are having difficulties and challenges, all right, where you can go and look for help. Okay, what are the available mental health services, how to access, and also what happens when you actually seek help? Because a lot of clients who come to us and we ask them, why did it take you this long to come? Okay, all right. They have a few concerns. Okay, before they actually come to us. All right. So what are the available mental health services? Okay, mental health professionals in Malaysia, there are quite a few. Okay, we have counsellors. Okay, and these counsellors are available in universities. Okay, in perhaps in your student services. Okay, attached to your student services. Okay, or attached to klinik kesihatan in your university. All right. It could also they could also be available in government or private hospitals. All right. We have counsellors, we have psychologists, we have clinical psychologists. Okay, and we have psychiatrists. Okay, psychiatrists are doctors, medical doctors. Okay, who specializes in mental health disorders. Okay, all right. So all of these mental health professionals, okay, they are available, all right, but not all centers, okay, not all universities will have psychologists or psychiatrists attached to them, okay, and not all universities and or colleges, okay, actually have psychologists there or psychiatrists there. Okay, so actually in general, how do you actually seek help? Okay, how do you access these professionals? Okay, number one, each universities will have their own pathway on accessing their counsellors. Okay, but then for psychologists in the government services, okay, all right, usually psychologists and psychiatrists, okay, they need a referral letter lah, basically. You go to any GP, any klinik kesihatan or any private clinics out there, okay, you get a referral letter saying, you know, where the doctor will refer you, okay. Then you can go to the nearest hospital, okay, to get an appointment, all right. So, and the appointment really varies, you see, from hospital to hospital in terms of the waiting time, okay. Same like private hospitals as well, or private clinics, okay. There are differences in the waiting time, all right, okay. So actually in most of the government hospitals, all right, there is a psychiatric clinic, okay, where you can get access to mental health services, okay, all right. And when you come to the clinic, okay, it doesn't mean that you need medication immediately, no, okay. You will be assessed first, okay, to see the severity and what type of disorder you have. Even if it is a disorder, sometimes it's a chronic stress, so you may need psychotherapy or you need counseling, okay, some what we call talk therapy that can help you through your challenges, okay. If it's really severe, disrupting your work, disrupting your day-to-day activities, yeah, how you interact with others, then you may need medication, okay, may need, all right. It's not that when you come to a psychiatric clinic, you will immediately be dished out medication, no, okay. You will be assessed properly first. Okay, and despite what people think, okay, the confidentiality clause applies to psychiatric patients as well, patients who come to us with challenges or difficulties, okay. doctors don't simply call and talk about your problems with everyone. Okay, so your confidentiality is maintained. Like just when you go to seek help for medical illnesses or surgical problems, yeah, it's the same. Okay, all right, and it is up to you whether you want to tell people or not if you have a mental health problem. Okay, however, when it comes to a university setting, okay, and also in general, okay, if there are risk issues like you are very suicidal or very aggressive, for example, we may need to inform the next of kin. That's number one. Okay, and number two, all right, if you have trouble with your studies because of your mental health difficulties, okay, because of you struggling psychologically, all right, the university may need some letter, okay, to certify what you have. So in that sense, your university or your lecturer or your dean may know about it. Okay, so I can't say that confidentiality will be maintained 100%, but there are situations that, you know, that other people may find out about it. Okay. Okay. So I welcome any questions. You can post your question here. Okay, don't worry. Totally confidential. All right, I wouldn't know who you are. Okay, if you ask the questions. Okay, I'll try my best to answer them. All right, or you can post the question in the YouTube channel if you like. All right.
Okay, is there any questions from the audience? As Dr. Salina said, you can post in the Mentimeter, or you can also type in the chat section in the YouTube channel.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, okay, I'll just leave you with this slide, and thank you so much for listening in.
Okay, I think if we don't have any questions, we should end now, and then we will go to the next talk by Dr. Jannah. Thank you, everyone.
And what you can see there in the YouTube.
Yeah.
klinik ketiga.
psychological and emotional well-being.
Kestabilan emosi, fizikal dan juga psikologi seseorang.
Kesihatan mental tu jiwa kacau lah.
If you are overstressed or emotionally unstable, you need help. This is our role at Skuad, Peduli, Minda, Faculty of Medicine, UiTM.
We aim to raise awareness,
Be the pioneer in training strategies to seek help for mental health challenges to empower a group of students and staff.
we bring mental health knowledge and awareness, which include mental health screening,
Stress management, coping strategies, building resilience and tenacity,
Mindfulness Therapy and interpersonal skills.
This is just the beginning. Together we thrive.
be aware,
reach out,
take charge.
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to everyone. So we are back to our second session in our Day 2 webinar series on webinar series. Yeah. So together, I'm Dr. Nur Faizah Ali. I'm one of the psychiatrists in the Faculty of Medicine, UiTM. And our speaker for today is Dr. Nur Jannah Nasution Raduan. She is a psychiatrist, currently doing her fellowship in psychogeriatric in HKL. So we will hear from her to talk about mindfulness therapy. So, Dr. Jannah, silakan.
Hi, Dr. Faizah. Thank you for the kind introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Jannah. So, inshallah, today we will be talking about mindfulness therapy, just an introduction. Of course, within 1 hour, none of us will be mindfulness experts, but hopefully we can try to practice at least 10% of what we've heard or learned today. So, just a short reminder before we start. Remember when you first start learning how to cycle a bicycle, and it didn't take you just 1 hour to learn how to cycle. So learning new things and new methods will take time. This is an introduction to mindfulness. I hope that you can learn something from today's session and practice it whenever you're free. And you can always Google and YouTube more mindfulness videos later on when you're free to understand more about mindfulness. So I'm going to share screen. Dr. Faizah, can you just give me a response whether you can see my slides? Dr. Faizah, can you see my slide?
I can see your slide now. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so we'll be talking about mindfulness. I'm Dr. Jannah, and our moderator just now was Dr. Faizah. We are from Skuad, Peduli, Minda, Department of Psychiatry, Faculty of Medicine, UiTM. Thank you all of you for joining today's session. So when we talk about mindfulness, is it mindful with F-U-L-L or mindful with F-U-L? So as you can see from the photo on my slide on your screen, mindful with double L means our mind is full of everything in the world. We are preoccupied with every single thing. And we are looking at this cartoon, this thick body, even though he is with his dog, maybe in a park with trees around and the sun, but he's not able to appreciate whatever is in his surrounding, but instead his mind is full of everything in the world, full of preoccupied with every single thing. Yeah, and the photo in the cloud on the right side, as you can see, the dog is mindful, which is the dog is where he is connected to the present moment, connected to now, connected to the trees and the sun and the surrounding that is surrounding the dog. So that is mindful. So mindful, F-U-L-L scenarios. These are some scenarios that are very common for me when I am mindful and not mindful, single L. So imagine you are driving and you missed the intersection and took the wrong road because your mind was elsewhere. This is actually mindful. You're full of something else. As in you are actually mindless. You're not connected. You misplaced the very thing you held 5 minutes ago. You were just holding your car keys, but you don't know it is anymore. Well, your lecturer is in front of your class, but you are multitasking behind doing some other things, some other work. Or your mind is just preoccupied with something else while having a good lunch with your friends. Yeah, your friends are around you, but your mind is preoccupied about something else. So the mind, what is the nature of our mind? Our mind is very unique because it is always wandering. It's like a traveler. It's on a time machine. You can go to the past and you can go forward to the future. It will always travel from one memory to another, from one story to another story. Your mind is not connected. The mind is not connected to your physical, emotional, or sensory automatically. You actually have to train your mind to be connected to your body. And so that is there's a saying which goes, I used to think that the brain was the most wonderful organ in my body. Then I realized who was telling me this. So we sometimes we need to realize that our mind is like a radio, and there are times when we need to just sit back and be an observer of this radio. We need to observe our mind and the thoughts that run through our mind, because not everything that we think is reality. Okay, so although we all have a mind, we are not the same as our mind. Okay, our mind can say a lot of things, but it might not be true. Okay, sometimes our mind say negative thoughts, but it might not be true. It's not reality, and whatever that comes from our mind, they are not facts. They can just be anything. Okay, so how to be mindful is we need to be present, being present, having present moment awareness, being where we are now. So mindlessness, is distraction, inattention, lack of engagement, absent-mindedness, lost in thought or preoccupied. While mindfulness is a psychological quality to bring one's complete attention to the present experience, moment to moment. So if I'm here talking to you, my mind is really focusing on this talk. Remember that I can be talking here, being in this webinar, but my mind can be elsewhere. My mind can, be at home. My mind can be in December, Christmas holiday. Okay, so that is just the nature of our mind. It can wander from the past to the future. So what's the effects of mindlessness? We tend to do things autopilot, get carried away with daily activities, but we have no idea what we're doing. We're not connected to what we're doing. Our heart is not fully into what we're doing. We are without a mind and body connection. Our mind and our body is not connected. Okay, so when the mind and the body is not connected, then we are always either in the past with sad memories or in the future, full of fear of uncertainty. So we get lost from our direction. We seem to be not connected with our goals in our life. Okay, and the other effect that is quite scary, I guess, is that there is no room to think before we act or speak. When we are mindless, we don't stop and think, observe what our mind is thinking, what our mind is doing. Okay, we react. We react. We say things that we might regret. We do things that we might regret, and we become reactive. And carried away with a lot of negative feelings. So a bit of crash course for neuroscience and mindfulness is that we have the limbic system and sympathetic nervous system. And what it does is the sympathetic gives a lot of adrenaline and cortisol, so you're always on the go. You're always like fight and flight. You're always nervous, stressed, or tense. But parasympathetic calms the sympathetic. Okay, and how does parasympathetic work? Is mindfulness and deep breathing help to activate the parasympathetic so that we can calm down those adrenaline and those cortisol. So mindfulness is the ability to be present, connected to now. Okay, it's called present because it's a gift. Now is a gift. Present moment is a gift. We might not have this present moment ever again, so it's a gift. To rest in the here and now, fully engage with whatever we're doing in the moment, with whoever that's in our surroundings. So present moment awareness, it's not automatic. You need effort to bring your attention more completely to many moments in your life, paying full attention, being non-judgmental to whatever is happening around you without any defense, and accepting whatever is happening. The sound of the aircon, the sound of the wind, the sound of the rain, the feeling of that, rain water drop that actually wets my tudung or my baju. I'm feeling it without any judgment, without defense. It can be done formally with meditation or informally. Being aware of ourselves, our surroundings, thoughts and feelings, and not trying to achieve anything, just trying to be connected to now. How do we do this? Steps to achieve mindfulness is non-judging, patience. Start with vigilance mind, which means that you are not trying to achieve anything. Okay, you're just doing it just for the sake of doing it. Trust that you are doing what's best for you. Okay, don't always judge. Look, I'm doing this, but I don't feel calm. I don't feel happy. You're not supposed to feel anything. Okay, you're just trying to pay attention to yourself, your own thoughts, your own feelings, yeah, your own sensory, the five senses. Not striving, accepting, and letting go with an open heart. Okay, so now I want you to actually do this exercise if you can. Just close your eyes. I'm just going to read the text, and I want you just to imagine whatever I'm reading. Okay, so this is a metaphor. The mind as a GPS, or the mind as either Waze or Google Maps. So imagine your thoughts about the future are like a GPS voice telling you what is coming up next. You then become too fixated on the GPS, fiddling with the control, adding stops, checking your arrival time, and adjusting the volume. Becoming so focused on the GPS, you lose focus of the road, missing an exit. Merely GPS can be helpful. We need a rare ending, a car, and perhaps even making a wrong turn into a lake. Although one needs to listen to its feedback from the present moment, engage in the task at hand, and mindful of our surroundings. So, the point of this metaphor is that when we are driving, but our mind is so focused on the GPS, we might take a wrong turning, we might go to the wrong place, and we might, add up more stops. But if we are able to connect with our driving, but the GPS sound is just as a background, then we are able to reach our goal, our destination. Now, let me invite you to sit comfortably on your chair. All of you who's watching this webinar, Dr. Faizah can do it also if she wants to. And you can even lower your gaze or close your eyes. Okay, sit comfortably on your chair. Bring your attention to your breath, to the air that is going in and out from your nose. Listen to the guided meditation in the next exercise that I will be reading. You can close your eyes, can fall asleep, it's okay. Just sit comfortably on your chair. As you sit with your feet on the floor, notice the sensation of your body in the chair. Now bring your attention to your breath, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Now notice the sensation of your feet on the floor. Notice any tension in your legs, arms, hands, shoulders, and face. And letting go of this tension in your body parts. Bring the attention back to the breath for a moment, focusing on the in-breath and the out-breath. Focusing on the air coming in of your nose and the air going out of your nose. Now, extend your awareness to any sounds around you, either the aircon sound or the fan sound or the motorbike sound outside your room. Perhaps you may not have been aware of small sounds like the fan, the hum of electricity, people talking, or nature. Simply notice this sound. Keep the attention on the sounds while also noticing the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. If a thought pops up, acknowledge it. What was the thought about? What was the thought coming from? Where was the thought coming from? And place it on a leaf and push it down a stream of your imagination and refocus your attention. Anchor your mind and concentration back to your breath. a lot of thoughts will pop up. But you can always anchor back your attention back to your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. When you're ready, you can come back to this webinar. If you're tired and sleepy, you can continue to sleep and watch the rerun of this webinar on YouTube. Okay, now let's talk about inflexible attention. When you have inflexible attention, you're trying to focus and fuse with your negative thoughts, and you avoid whatever emotion that is going through in your body. And this will worsen all the worry and rumination that you have in your mind. The problem is not eliminating thinking of the future or the past, but to be flexible, to always come back to present moment. Be in the here and now is particularly important so that you learn new things in the present moment. You are not fixed with whatever happened in the past and do the same behavior you used to in the past. So it is where opportunities in the environment can be discovered. When you are in the current present moment, you have new people, new opportunities, new reaction, and new situations. So when you are too preoccupied with the past or the future, your awareness and behavior get stuck, either in the past or in the future, and your thoughts and reactions are not based on current moment, on present moment. So whatever behavior that you've done in the past that was not working, you will always repeat it now because you're not living here, you're always living in your memory in the past. Okay, so it does not help. So why is it so important that I've been talking about contact with present moment? So when we are connected to present moment, we have nothing to fight against. Okay, we don't have to fight against sadness of the past, or we don't have to fight with fear of uncertainties in the future. Much of what is present in and of itself is not threatening. Whatever we have now with us is actually not threatening. The feelings, the thoughts, the sensation, the urge, and so on are simply experiences to be observed. You observing your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, like the sky, watching, observing the clouds. When we lose contact with this present moment, we can lose awareness and end up entangled with our mind. We're always up here and we're never connected here. So we are so absorbed with evaluation, judgment, assessment of negative feelings, negative sensation, and of course creating a lot of suffering in ourselves. So being present is like turning off the mind autopilot switch and adopting a deliberate, self-aware approach to daily life. Okay, so we want to be connected in the present. So as you can see in this diagram, we are now in the present, but the past, which is usually connected to depression, always have, should have, why did I, and replays of bad memories, traumatizing memories, sad memories. And the future of anxiety usually looks like what if, question marks, and predictions, uncertainty, fear, anxiety. It's not wrong to be in the past or in the future, but we have to be flexible and always remind ourselves to come back in the present moment. So I have this article, How to Be a Mindful Muslim, an exercise in Islamic meditation. So for Muslims, perhaps this article, which I have summarized in the next few slides, will be helpful for you. It's from Yakin Institute for Islamic Research. You can actually Google it. It's free. It's a free article by Brother Justin Barrett. So in Islamic mindfulness, it's called muraqabah, which is to watch, observe, regard attentively. It is the constant knowledge of the servant and conviction in the supervision of the truth. Glory be to Allah over one's outward and inward state, which means that we are always aware that God is watching us outside and inside. And because of this awareness, we are observing ourselves attentively. Our thoughts, our intentions, our speech, and our behavior. So Islamic mindfulness is based on the fact that Allah is always watching us at all times, and as a consequence, we actually develop greater attention and care for our own actions, thoughts, feelings, and inner states of being. As Allah said, remember that God knows what is in your soul, so be mindful of Him. So when we're always aware that someone is watching and hearing, then we will develop greater attention and care to what we do, what we say, what our thoughts are, and our inner state. So muraqabah is mindfulness of one's own intentions, thoughts, emotions, and other inner states. Whether we're sad, angry, irritable, agitated, we are aware of it and we are observing it. So advantages of mindfulness, why mindfulness is helpful. We are more sensitive to the conditions of our surroundings. We can empathize with people around us. We are not preoccupied in our own world. We are aware of our own feelings. We are aware of our own thoughts. We know that these thoughts are not facts. They are not reality. They can be negative thoughts, but we are just observing it, not reacting on it. We reflect the consequences of actions. So we don't simply just, give very negative comments or do cyberbully on social media, because we know these actions and thoughts have consequences, and we reflect on the consequences, and we don't just do things reactively. Focus on present moment, making us grateful for every favor, every food and drink we have. We are grateful for it. Every health that we have during this COVID-19, where people are always sick, we are grateful for it. And we are able to show kindness to ourselves and to others through kindness and self-compassion. So how to practice mindfulness? So as a Muslim, our Prophet ﷺ said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him speak goodness or remain silent. So meditation is continued or extended thought. We can practice mindfulness through meditation. It is continued or extended thought reflection, religious contemplation, or just spiritual introspection. So mindfulness exercise is not about suppressing our thoughts. We want to stop thinking. No, that's not mindfulness. It is simply becoming aware of our thoughts, learning to willingly acknowledge these thoughts are present, and begin to perceive a distance between ourselves and we are here. We are not our thoughts, but we are able to observe these thoughts, separating us from our thoughts so we can reflect before we react. Our involuntary thoughts are just happenings and do not necessarily reflect who we are. So remember, our thinking self is like a radio. Our mind is always thinking. It's just like a radio. But our observing self is like the sky. We observe our thoughts and our feelings like they were the weather or the cloud. And we know that storm never lasts forever. We know that clouds pass by. So that's how our thoughts and feelings are. So where do we go from here? So you've listened to my talk for the last 20 minutes on the mindfulness, and you're like, okay, we know the good and the bad of not getting connected. What do we do from here then? Okay, so let's talk about mindfulness exercise, okay? So how do we do a mindfulness exercise? Well, I myself we try to do at least once a day mindfulness exercise. First, choose a time of the day when you can be in a quiet place alone. Unplug yourself from all social media, from the internet, from your emails, from your news, from your Twitter, from your Facebook, from your Instagram, Snapchat, what else? TikTok, Netflix, okay? Unplug yourself. Choose a posture that you find comfortable. You can sit up in a chair or on a cool, comfy cushion, or even lying down on your side or back in the bed. Focusing awareness on your natural breathing in and breathing out. Progressively relax the muscle tension throughout your body, starting with your shoulders, your arms, your legs, your core, and your jaw. Keep them relaxed. Then close your eyes or simply lower your gaze. As you start with relaxed breathing, feel for a sense of your state of heart and mind in this moment. Find your heart and your mind in this moment. What is your heart saying? What is your mind thinking in this moment? Observing it like an observer, like the sky. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? Is my mind racing or calm? Try to settle your mind by bringing awareness to your natural, relaxed breathing. Simply feeling the life and energy Allah gives you throughout your body. For Muslims, feel a deep sense of gratitude to Allah for your breath, your living, and being in this moment. For Muslims, as you settle into stillness within your inner space, begin to perceive the feeling of muraqabah with Allah. Know and feel that He is watching you. When your mind starts to wander off, and of course it will, it's a time machine, you want to bring your awareness back to the center of your being and to your presence in this moment for Allah and quietly reciting remembrances of Allah. Anchor. In mindfulness exercise, anchor is important. Anchor is our breath. Each time our mind wanders off, go back to your anchor. And this is your breathing in and out. It can be anything, from your breath to istighfar or remembrance of Allah if you are a Muslim. Now, mindfulness of the breath. Okay, again, I am going to do another exercise with you. Be in a comfortable place. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, be in a comfortable position. And you can either close your eyes or you can lower down your gaze. I am going to read guided meditation of mindfulness exercise. This will take around 5 minutes. If you can just sit back and relax and listen to this guided meditation. So sit with your feet flat on the floor and back straight. Either fix your eyes on a spot or close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breathing and observe it as if you are a curious scientist who has never encountered breathing before. Focus on your breath. Observe your breathing. Notice the air as it comes in through your nostrils and goes down to the bottom of your lungs. And notice it as it flows back out again. Notice the air moving in and out of your nostrils. How it's slightly warmer as it comes out and slightly cooler as it goes in. Notice the subtle rise and fall of your shoulders. And the gentle rise and fall of your rib cage. Notice the soothing rise and fall of your abdomen. Fix your attention on one of these areas, whichever you prefer, on the breath moving in or the breath moving out of the nostrils, on the rising and falling of the rib cage or the abdomen. Keep your attention on this spot, noticing the movement in and out of the breath. Whatever feelings, urges, or sensations arise, whether pleasant or unpleasant, gently acknowledge them. As if nodding your head at people passing by you on the street. Gently acknowledge their presence and let them be. Whatever thoughts that comes to mind or whatever urges or sensations, allow them to come and go. As they please, keep your attention on your breath. Whatever thoughts, images, or memories arise, whether comfortable or uncomfortable, simply acknowledge them and allow as they please. Keep your attention on your breath. Whatever thoughts, images, or memories arise, whether comfortable or uncomfortable, simply acknowledge them and allow them to be. Let them come and go as they please, and keep your attention on your breath. From time to time, your attention will wander as you get caught up in your thoughts. Each time this happens, notice what distracted you, then bring your attention back to the breath. No matter how often you drift off, whether 100 times or 1,000, your aim is simply to note what distracted you and to refocus on the breath. Again and again and again, you will drift off into your thoughts. This is normal and natural and happens to everyone. Our mind naturally distracts us from what we are doing. So each time you realize your attention has wandered, gently acknowledge it, notice what distracted you, and return your attention to the breath. If frustration, boredom, anxiety, impatience, or other feelings arise, simply acknowledge them and maintain your focus on your breath. No matter how often your attention wanders, gently acknowledge it, notice what distracted you, and then refocus on your breath. And when you're ready, bring yourself to the room and open your eyes. Yes, now you're back to the webinar. Okay, I'm finishing off about mindfulness now. I'm going to share screen again. Dr. Faizah, can you see my slide?
I can see your slide, but it's not full screen yet.
Oh, okay. Is it already now?
Yeah,
It is full screen?
it is full screen.
Okay,
Nasib baik I tak
thank
tidur
you.
lagi.
Okay, so anyhow, you can, put your feedback about meditation exercise in comment section. But I would really like to know how your experience were, if you're able to actually do the exercise. Well, our minds race and race during the exercise. For me, I thought that I was feeling very sleepy and tired. But the guided meditation actually put me back to what I was reading, of course. And our mind keeps wandering off again and again until we feel that we have not achieved anything from our exercise. Well, the best mindfulness exercise session is the one you completed, period. Okay? As long as you've done it, that's the best for you. You don't have to, achieve anything from the exercise. So no matter how long your mind spent in unmindfulness or mindlessness, every time you brought it back to muraqabah or mindfulness, your mind will actually become stronger and stronger. Your attention will actually improve also. Okay? So no mindfulness exercise is a waste of time, regardless of anything that you felt that you did not achieve anything at all. It's okay. It's really okay. So contacting the present moment exercise, there are simple ways to get present, re-engage with your 5 senses. You can just sit and, observe the 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, and 5 things you can feel. Focus on your breath, like just now. Give it like 3 minutes, it's fine. 1 minute is fine if you're very busy or you don't have time. Mindful eating, starting with Bismillah if you're a Muslim, and mindfulness in everyday activities while driving, while you're brushing your teeth, anything that you're doing. So when we are mindful, I'm being mindful of some noise outside my room. There are people walking outside my room. Okay, they're gone now. Anyway, when we are mindful, we are actually really engaged. We are really listening. Our mind is not absent, or we're not looking at our phones or our gadgets. We are really listening to our friends, our parents, our family members. And it actually makes a better and greater connection in human connection. We're really noticing things around us. Flowers, nature, anything that we've not noticed before. Traffic lights on the way to work, traffic lights on the way to class. Yeah. That guard house, how many police bantuan is there in UiTM guard house? We always pass it every morning, but we rarely actually observe and realize who they are. When we are really engaged, we are being curious. Oh, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. And we are really being present with those around us, being grateful and kind to ourselves and to those around us. So key targets for contact with present moment is to discover that life is happening in the here and now. Remember that present is a gift. Present moment is a gift to all of us. You cannot return to this present moment. You cannot rewind it anymore. Make it worth everything you have. Returning to the now from the past or the future, because the past is gone and the future is uncertain to come, whether you will meet it or not. Make contact with life as it's happening in the moment, whether it is filled with sorrow or joy. Those are really not wrong emotions. They can be there, sorrow or joy, or any kind of emotions that you have. There is no such thing as wrong emotions, bad emotions, or negative emotions. They are just emotions. We are observing it and being non-judgmental towards it. Develop the ability to attend to their experience, to our experience in a more flexible, fluid, and voluntary manner, so that our thoughts and feelings do not control us. Notice what's happening in your relationships in the moment. How, when we look at our children, how they're looking at us, how they're smiling. When we're looking at our parents, how they're happy when they look at us, or, when they're upset or they're worried about something. We are really noticing things and not taking things for granted in our life. So before I end, I have this great metaphor. It's called passengers on the bus. So that driver can be me or you. And we have a lot of passengers in our own bus. We are driving our own car or our own bus, and we have our own passengers behind us. And these passengers can look like monsters or just anything in the world. You can name these passengers. They can be anxiety, fear, sadness, despair, disgust, anger, irritable, agitation, whatever kind of emotions that you perhaps those passengers want to ride on your bus. But remember, what's important is who holds the wheels of the bus. Is it you or is it anger? Is it you or is it sadness? Is it you or is it anxiety? So remember that in reaching our goals, we always have values in our life, and those can be kindness, self-compassion, responsible, caring, helping others. Remember these values that we want our life to be based on in order to achieve our goal. And passengers in our bus can and will always be there. But you just need to make sure you are in charge of the wheels and not those passengers. Thank you for spending your time, your lunch time with me. I truly appreciate it. And this session actually made me got connected with my own self, my mind and my heart and my body, of course. Thank you for having me in this webinar. You can drop your comments and questions for Dr. Faizah to pick up. Thank you, Faizah. You can take back the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jannah. That's actually very, sometimes we are too busy in our life. We forget to be at the moment, yeah?
That's right.
So, we have this question from our audience here, from Adlina Matkushairi. So she said, love this. I always feel the consciousness is the first step to healing. So that's a comment. It's very true, right?
Yeah, I think that's important. I think when she said consciousness, she might have meant awareness. That's right. Being aware of our thoughts and feelings are really, really helpful just to go through this journey of self-healing. That's really true. Thank you for sharing that, Adlina.
And sometimes, I'm just sharing my personal experience while we wait if there's more questions. Sometimes when things get too overwhelmed, there's a lot of things you have to do. And without you realizing, you're becoming more irritable, more restless, and then sometimes you can be a bit mean to other people. People around you. Sometimes you kerja, penat kerja, tapi anak dekat rumah yang jadi mangsa. The husband. Things like that. So I think it's nice to have if we can master the skill of being mindful. I thought.
I think, Faizah, I think whatever you're saying is very important because when we are mindful of our own tiredness and fatigue, what we should be aware of is self-compassion to ourselves. When we are having tiredness and fatigue and we are mindful of it, that's really the first step for self-compassion. Maybe we need 5 or 10 minutes alone time in the car before we actually enter our house, or we need that extra 5 minutes long shower just to calm down and get in touch with our own senses and what we are feeling for that day. It's very important. Yep.
Of course. I think as for now, I think there is no questions or any comment from the participants. So thank you very much, Dr. Jannah, for squeezing us in the webinar into your very busy schedule. And
my pleasure. It's really my pleasure.
Yeah. So today our second day. So tomorrow is going to be our third day of our webinar. Tomorrow we will have Dr. Azrin will be talking about the smart media. Talking about internet addiction and how we students can take charge and be in control of that. And then the second topic will be about how to build resilience. It will be conducted by myself. So the webinar for tomorrow will be from 12:30 until 2:30, same time as today. So we hope more people can join us. I think that's all from us. Skuad Peduli Minda UiTM. We'll see you again tomorrow.